thank you, Eileen and Safira, for attending our event today. So, Eileen, first, how did your role come about in Live and Let Die?
This is my whole destiny because I was very young and I had just finished in drama school in London and had joined through Equity an agency called the David Agency. I did a couple of BBC jobs and then it seemed to go rather quiet. So the agency phoned and said, Eileen, I've got a job here. It is an Equity, but it's quite a good job. It goes 6 weeks to New Orleans, 6 weeks to Jamaica and back in Pinewood. And it's to double for an actress called Seymour. So how do you feel about doing that? Because it will be very interesting as they're choosing somebody that's got a form of light acting skills that could do her role, if you like, while she's off camera. So you'll need to move around and do whatever she's supposed to do eventually. So I took the job, and in those days it was a charter flights. So they took me to New Orleans via Jamaica, even though I wasn't used in New Orleans. It was a very nice holiday and got to know the crew, cast and crew that were there. Then we flew off to Jamaica, and it wasn't shot in sequence at all. So I was shoved on a red bus, and little did I know that this bus was going to go under the bridge and the top would come off, and that was me sitting on the bus. So that was rather unnerving, and I thought, what's next? And then the more I got into it, the more familiar I was with this peculiar job. And then in the Dunn's River Falls in Jamaica, having done New Orleans, there was the scene with a snake. Now, I have a massive phobia of snakes. I mean, I didn't even like your rubber snake out there. No. So I thought, well, it's early days and I've just got this job really, although I was friendly with everyone by then. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do the scene. And nor could the continuity woman, Elaine Shrake, at the time. She couldn't do the scene either. So that wasn't a very good start. But as weeks went on, I got to know everyone. Jane was just lovely. Jane Seymour was so sweet and kind. And the weeks just went on.
Sure, and then you came back to Pinewood for the...
Then I came back to Pinewood and
the shop.
We worked in the tank where Kananga was going to be eventually blown up, and they put me on a... Thank you. They put me on a... Thanks, my stomach. I'm friendly with them all. They put me on... what was I wearing? A harness. I was wearing... Thank you, Rocky. Yeah. Anyway, I was on the pulley and I had the harness on, and what did they do to me? They pulled... Thank you very much. And that was quite a big scene and went on for a few days, actually. It wasn't my fault. And that was very interesting. And I just got friendly with them all. And my destiny was to meet the young cameraman on that film. I eventually married him. And I went on to do with Man with the Golden Gun, but as a wife, sitting round a pool, shaken, not stirred. And that was my whole destiny.
Was that your doubling for Britt Ekland in Man with the Golden Gun?
Helped. Mm-hmm. No, I was literally a wife sitting around that pool with the other wives in a different role, completely.
Well, thank you. And so yourself, Safira, how did the role in Octopussy come about?
Good question. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. It's lovely to see everybody. Yeah, good question. I don't actually remember. No, definitely. In those days, we used to have these model cards, as you might remember, and I remember that Debbie McWilliams was doing the casting on that film with possibly Susie Figgis. And I know that the cards were sent out. And I don't remember whether I actually went for an audition and saw John Glenn, or any of the other casting directors, but I remember getting a call to say that, you know, I was going to do a film, and I thought, oh, okay, fine. And it obviously snowballed from there. But one of the bittersweet moments I had about Octopussy was that I was at Camden Tube Station, and I put my book down on the floor between my legs, where obviously I could see it. And I was ringing my agent, as we do at the end of most days, to see what we had to do the next day. And I'd put the money into the coins into the phone box, and I'm on the phone, and I don't remember what I was meant to do the next day, but I looked down and the book was gone. And someone had stolen it, and in it was pictures with me and Roger, and pictures with me and VJ. And I still haven't managed to get those photos back ever since. So I'm really gutted about that. But yeah, so I was literally crying and looking around all the dustbins that I could see whether my book, my portfolio had been thrown by somebody. So.
And your destination for filming Octopussy was as exotic as Eileen's. You went to India?
Yes, I went to Jaipur, Lake Palace Hotel with gents over there. And so, yeah, I just remember being drunk most nights.
How long did you spend over there? Was it about 6 weeks or so?
Yes,
yeah.
something like that. Something like that. And I went on to Mumbai to do other work, which was not Bond related. Okay. Yeah.
And on your time on the set, were you able to take anything, props?
No, but I would have loved to have taken the headrest from the church scenes, not church scene, the circus scene, sorry. Yeah, that would have been lovely, because that was just, that orange was amazing. That colour was fantastic. And, you know, the costumes, I remember I could get into the costume the first time, but when we came back from India, it was a struggle to get into the costume again.
Excellent. Eileen, did you manage to take anything from the Bond sets, or would you like to tell people what happened on the Star Wars?
So I was on Star Wars as a Mosep Benede, the white whiskered Mosep Benede, and it was claustrophobic under this head. I was asked again, this was with central casting. I was asked what head size I had. So I turned around to my mother and said, oh, I'm on some lovely period film, Mum, some bonnet, you know, they're asking for my head size. Anyway, I was taken down to Elstree Studios, and on a trestle table were all these heads. And mine, number 7, matched this Mosep Benede. And I couldn't quite believe it. I thought, well, this isn't a bonnet, this is something different, because it was all quite secretive. Did the work, crying most of the time under this head, and pulled my little bit of the side open so I could breathe better and cry better. And the prosthetic makeup people kind of weren't happy with this. And Mr. Tony Way, he won't remember, was very kind. And he said, don't cry, Eileen. You could see I was crying. Don't leave her alone. Leave her alone. It's been a hard day. And I got through that. At the end of the shoot, we all had to leave our heads back on trestle tables. Not those that were in the chair for the prosthetics, but we could. And I left mine. And again, Mr. Way said, oh, you're not taking yours, Eileen? I said, no way. Now, that is with a private collector in Paris for a great sum of money. And I'm very sorry I didn't take Mr. Way's advice, but there you are. There you are. Yes. Yeah, pity. Pity. So that's somewhere in Paris.
And you did enjoy the time on set, obviously, when you were abroad. Lots of time. Were you over three or 4 weeks?
No, not on Star Wars. I did not go away on Star Wars, or Elstree. Mm-hmm. Was the studio called Elstree then?
Elstree, yeah.
Elstree,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, Mark.
It's had so many, Elstree. But we did not know how iconic it would be. How could you? How could you know that these silly heads, this silliness, I used to go home every night. Mum would say, I'd go load of rubbish, Mum. Absolutely load of rubbish. And since then, and I do the signings, I've been to Nashville, Amsterdam, Japan, recently to Cologne, and I'm calling it rubbish. So you can get things wrong at times.
And bring it back to Bond, how does it feel to be a Bond girl?
Am I kind of called a Bond girl?
I think so, don't we? Everyone? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Oh, I feel good. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I'm so thank you. Don't. I'm all emotional, don't. Well, it was just, because my destiny was marrying Mike, who the boys know went on to get a BAFTA and really do well. And he unfortunately passed away on the film Chocolat. But that's, neither here nor there. But that was my destiny, to go on and enjoy life.
And does it feel the same for you, Safira?
Well, you can't shake off the
Of course.
Bond label, but you can certainly stir it up.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Very good. Well, thank you, ladies. Now to the audience. Have we got any questions from anybody?
What made you start in that role? What made you start in it?
In Star Wars, how did I start in the...
Not in Star Wars, how did you want to start in that role of filming?
Yeah, because I was a member of Equity at that point, early days. I was extremely young. And that was my life. That's what I wanted to do. But it was really the change of my life and career was meeting my husband, who I just travelled with for 30 odd years. So that was much better to me than thinking about a permanent career in acting.
None of your family was in that career?
No, a little bit way back, other generations, bit of musical variety as it was then, but not no one was as nutty as I was, yeah.
So how did you
How did I
get into it?
sorry.
Was it a question get into it?
What was your ambition about getting into films?
Well, I started out in law, so I didn't really have an ambition to become an actress, but I was modelling at the time that they were casting for Octopussy. I actually worked in menswear, so I worked for a company that was owned by Phil Green, and one of his holding companies called Arcadia, as everybody knows Arcadia. But there was a subsidiary of Arcadia that I worked for. So I worked in menswear, buying materials. So I know the feel of cloth for men's suits, shirts, trousers, and so I was doing that. And then this opportunity came up. And I carried on in wholesale fashion because I was an in-house model at French Connection and Simi Mode, and they were all on Great Titchfield Street, Great Portland Street at the back. Yeah, so
My mum worked for French Connection.
there you go. Yes, and Stephen was with Nicole Fari at the time, and so she's obviously still carrying on, and the label's still going. Yeah, but I don't get any free clothes. Same.
Right, we've got a question here, and we're gonna go two more. Yeah, I know. There's about no one come earlier. What's going on now? Blimey. Right. Start here, then we'll go over there, and then we'll see what we can do. Right.
Thank you so much. Eileen, I had a question for you because you said your agent told you had this film. It was a very big and a nice opportunity. When did he tell you it was actually a Bond film, and how did you react back then?
How did you react when you found out it was actually a Bond film?
Oh, fainted. A young kid out of acting school had 2 little BBC jobs. I could not believe it. It was phenomenal. And the fact that I wasn't used really in New Orleans, that was like, but you see, again, didn't Rocky, it was charter flights, weren't there? There were charter flights everywhere. Anyone could, be invited along. So they took me from New Orleans on the chartered flight. It made sense to keep me going, And I think when there was a funeral scene in New Orleans, the well-known funeral scene, I think I pushed myself far back there and did a little bit of that behind them all, just for mum, that kind of thing,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, brilliant.
Thank you. A question for both you ladies independently. With times changing in the, I guess, modernisation of the film industry, if you could now think, okay, with all the empowerment of women and strongly dominant female roles within the cinema industry, if you could choose to play any character in film history, who would you choose?
Oh, well, it'd have to be with John Travolta for a start. Oh.
That's a short life, no.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a
Yeah,
good question.
no, I think that poor woman went through quite a lot.
Oh, she's saying Marilyn Monroe.
No. Someone said that over there, and I said that was a short life.
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe wasn't it? Of course. I think it would be a dancer with the best legs would be Sid Charisse. Oh, you're all too young to remember. None of you remember her, would you? Have to be a wonderful dancer.
I really can't answer that question. There's just, if it's in the film industry, I really will be struggling.
You're too young, you see.
But I think
You could say like I'll be Wonder Woman or something.
No. Actually, that sounds like a good idea. But I'm thinking more of Michelle Obama.
Another route. Okay.
The only thing with that is you only get 1 film contract for that one.
Yeah, but what a long contract.
It would be. Just extend it 3 hours. Could do a sequel, I suppose. Right. Okay, Chris. We're going to go over to Chris now.
Cheers, thanks. Thanks both for coming. You guys obviously worked with Sir Roger on your Bond films that you were in. He's really well known for being a bit cheeky and a bit naughty on set. I was just wondering if both of you had any stories about working with Sir Roger and your time on Live and Let Die and Octopussy.
Fantastic. In fact, it was my friend here who I see has a Roger Moore book. And I've got to get this because there's some stories in here. His stand-in double, stunt double. And also, I've just realised that a young... in Man with the Golden Gun, there's a kid that comes up at the side of the boat and goes, dragon, selling. Oh. Yeah? Now, that kid and his little baby brother, we took under our wing. They were gorgeous. Danny. That boy was Danny. And every morning, and my point is that Roger instigated an auction for these 2 street kids. And he was so kind, Roger. And all the cast and crew, you know what they're all like. They all took the clothes off their back and gave it to these kids. Now, my friend here has shown me a picture in this book of Danny, the older brother, as he was older in the book. And I cannot believe that. It makes me cry. I wish I brought those photos along that I took of him, all of us like that. And the baby brother learnt very quickly. And every morning as we came through the foyer, the Nurai Hotel, Bangkok, and the baby brother would be sitting there waiting for us to give bits of, brilliant. And now I gather that we could YouTube this boy, this dragon seller. So Roger Moore was fantastic, really.
Yeah, Chris, I would agree. Fantastic. He was just so charming, really lovely, laid back, but I think he kept himself a little bit to himself. Was certainly, I didn't have a huge amount of contact with him. But I remember when we came, we had individual shots with the Bond girls at the Lake Palace Hotel, and they put out I think it was a chair or something, a long chaise there, and we individually had photos with him, the ones I mentioned earlier that I'd got stolen, and he just said to me, he said, don't worry, I won't bite, and I went. But yeah, he was really, really, really lovely. Really, really lovely. Yeah.
Jan, this is for you. What was it like being on that London bus when the roof came off?
I didn't have a clue. There was no health and safety, nobody, Tony Way wasn't the AD, so it wasn't your fault, Tony. It was Derek Cracknell. And no, it was those days, and they were just humming and hawing at first. Well, do we need anyone? Shall we? Blah, blah, blah. And suddenly, Eileen, on the bus, please. I thought, oh, lovely, I see a few sights. This is really lovely. There were coconuts, the shot, there were coconuts on the road. And I'm on the first bench seat. Not the seats. So I'm on a bench seat here, and suddenly I'm up in the air, going over coconuts and God knows. I mean, when I think about it, really, it was horrific. And then the flipping bridge comes off. Unbelievable. And then I get off, and they're all praising the driver.
And you're all left on the bus wondering what's been going on.
Absolutely. Shell-shocked. And they're all going to hear, well done, that was brilliant. We got that shot, So it was an experience, something to tell the grandkids now or show them, but terrifying,
Brilliant scene, though.
Thank you.
Was it just done one take as well? You didn't do a retake?
No, not for that, no.
Excellent.
No, the red bus, the bridge, no. Unless I'd passed out by then. I don't know, yeah. No, one shot, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Eileen and Safira.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.